There are moments in life where silence protects you more than intelligence, strength, or pride ever could. Most awkward situations do not begin with disasters. They begin with something painfully ordinary. Public criticism, an uncomfortable silence, a careless sentence, a bruised ego, a moment where everyone suddenly becomes aware of everything. And strangely, some of the most important decisions in life are made in those few emotionally charged seconds. Not because the moment itself was enormous, but because awkward situations expose human character with frightening speed. They reveal who can stay calm, who panics, who humiliates others, who protects dignity, and who loses wisdom the moment emotion takes control. They show whether a person possesses emotional control or whether emotions possess them. Steve Jobs and the elevator silence. Early in his career, Steve Jobs was already famous for two things: brilliance and an intensity that could make even confident people nervous. A former employee recalled stepping into an elevator with him after a disastrous presentation. The atmosphere felt heavy. The employee immediately began explaining why the presentation failed, who caused the confusion, what went wrong, and why it was not entirely his fault. Excuse after excuse filled the tiny elevator. Jobs remained silent the entire time. No interruption, no anger, no reaction. Then, just before the elevator doors opened, he reportedly said only, "You waste more energy defending errors than correcting them," and he walked away. The ride lasted less than a minute, but the employee later admitted he never forgot it. Because embarrassment often makes human beings panic. We rush to explain ourselves. We overtalk. We defend every detail. We fear silence as if silence itself is judgment. But awkward situations often grow worse precisely because people cannot sit calmly inside uncomfortable moments. Sometimes silence communicates maturity better than 100 explanations. And sometimes composure repairs more than self-defense ever can. The married couple in the supermarket. Let me tell you a real-life story. It was an ordinary evening. A husband and wife were shopping after one of those exhausting weeks life quietly piles upon people. Work pressure, unpaid bills, lack of sleep, children demanding attention, small frustrations accumulating day after day. Nothing dramatic had happened. Yet emotional exhaustion had already filled the air long before they entered the supermarket. Then, while choosing groceries, a small disagreement appeared. And suddenly, the husband said something sharply in front of strangers. "You can never do anything properly." The sentence lasted only a few seconds. But public humiliation has a strange power. A private disagreement wounds the heart. A public one wounds dignity. The wife fell silent instantly. The awkwardness around them became almost visible. Nearby shoppers pretending not to hear. The husband realizing too late what he had done. The quiet pain behind her expression. Years later, she admitted it wasn't the argument that hurt most. It was feeling small in front of others. Many relationships do not collapse because of one enormous betrayal. Sometimes love erodes slowly through repeated moments of disrespect. Small humiliation, careless words, public criticism, tiny embarrassments that quietly accumulate over the years. Because people rarely forget the moments when someone they trusted made them feel ashamed instead of safe. Awkward situations are unavoidable, but the real danger is not the awkwardness itself. It is what people become inside those uncomfortable moments. Defensive, careless, cruel, impulsive. One sentence, one stare, one sarcastic smile. That is all it takes for emotion to overpower judgment. Most tragedies do not begin with hatred. They begin with someone refusing to let go of a moment. A few seconds of emotional reaction can create wounds that last for years. That is why wisdom is not measured by how loudly someone speaks, but by how calmly they carry themselves when emotions invite them to lose control. Because maturity often reveals itself most clearly in moments where silence, restraint, and dignity are hardest to maintain. Good day.